I was scrolling on Instagram and I was immediately enraged by this content. This woman had the audacity to come online and say that from eating 1/4 of an apple, you gain like 2 pounds of fat.
Dude, my kid would be huge.
I would be enormous.
Wait, how does she scientifically back that up?
She used some big words.
I tell her, back it up out the door, like, that, get that off my face.
She used just big words that people wouldn't know, but just sounded legit and
Trust me, I read food books.
crazy. Crazy. Why we should all be on the carnivore diet.
Oh, that's a big one lately. That's a big one.
I'm like, 1/4 of an apple is going to make you gain fat?
Action!
This is why I love podcasting, because you can just be yourself.
Thank goodness I'm not good at being anybody else.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Tristen.
And this is the TMi Podcast.
I would love to see what her actual, like, nutrition plan looks like for herself.
I'm like, is this just clickbait? Because this is...
Was it like a video?
Yeah.
Did you click it?
It's like a minute video.
Did you click it?
I did.
Was it clickbait or was she being for real?
I honestly think she was being for real.
Oh, that hurts.
But I just don't know how anyone believes it.
That's so crazy. You know, my perspective of food changed so much as a bodybuilder, even compared to just getting my nutritionist. That changed a lot for me. And I mean, I got my nutritionist because I fought cancer for 10 years and nobody could tell me how to eat. Nobody could tell me how to eat for the body I have with a tumor in my abdomen. And that's a problem. And so I decided I wanted to learn how to feed myself accordingly. And so I started there. And then, you know, years later, I went into bodybuilding and discovered like my next level with food. Because what I didn't understand is that, you know, not everybody needs to be on the same intake. Your metabolism is going to change a lot of things. And, you know, one month over here, I could have had a slower metabolism. And now I have a much faster metabolism because I've been training it with clean foods, eating on a time structure, and physically moving my body. And all of a sudden, my metabolism is kicking off. And I'm eating the same amount as I was last month. But my energy is going down. I'm losing a little bit of weight, or I'm plateaued. And I'm kind of stressed about it. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? But then I increase my food. My weight still doesn't go up, but my energy does, and my cognitive function does, and, you know, all these other great things that we're looking for. And I'm like, holy heck, you know, I just went from 1,800 calories to 2,200 calories, and I'm not gaining weight. I have better energy. I'm sleeping better. Oh, I am now eating to match my metabolism. I'm eating to keep up with where my body's at right now, not where I think it should be. And, you know, I think our bodies speak to us. There's this, you know, language. There's so many languages in the world that, you know, people are so proud to be fluent in, but nobody's proud to be fluent in speaking body language. Nobody's proud to say my anatomy is speaking to me and I understand what it's saying. And I think that's one of the most understudied languages that we have. And I think that, you know, in health class, we're not taught how to listen to hunger cues. We're not taught how to listen to exhaustion or where it comes from. We're just taught that moms are exhausted because they make decisions all day and have to clean up. We're taught that teachers are exhausted because they have to teach us all day. We're not really taught the difference between being tired and being exhausted.
I would even say we talk about health class, teachers, doctors. They're 8 years of schooling, or
12?
6, I don't know, whatever.
I think it's 12.
Whatever the crazy amount is, they take one nutrition class out of all those years. They're not even taught to prescribe nutrition and exercise as medicine.
You know, since I moved to Texas recently, we have to find a new PMC, like primary care. And oh my gosh, I did not realize how fortunate I was to have the one I did, because I've gone to different offices and I just, you know, it's hard to find somebody that I can trust and be in agreement with. And, you know, I don't have to agree with everything. I do believe that I trust doctors to a point. You know, you did go get a higher education. You do have a deeper understanding of certain things. But I need you to be able to explain them to me in a way that makes me understand. And if you can't do that, then I'm going to question if you really understand it. And, when I went into this office recently, they had like a wall with some little mailboxes on it. And I was reading the titles of them, and they were all nutrition related. For mostly for things like diabetes and glucose preventative measures, just different. That was one of the titles I saw, one of the different things. And I was looking at it and I was like, you don't see that very often. And so when I went into the actual medical examining room and I was talking to the doctor, I started asking questions about it, and I wish I didn't. Because it was a lot of, yeah, we use those sometimes. We give those out so that people understand how to eat. And I was like, I really thought we were going to have some interesting dialogue here. I can see that I asked the wrong question. Enjoy your day. Awkward. And any time that I have really tried to go deeper into the topic of food, with in that setting, it's not the most invited topic. It's not the first thing they want to lean on. It's not medicine. It's not looked at like medicine when it should be. You're consuming it. It's going into your body. You have an opportunity. You can use spices to make people feel better, but we don't talk about that.
I think we might be one of the only cultures, or I guess when we think of like America, right? Because the Chinese, they have functional medicine. They use all different types of spices, water, teas, herbs, like everything, right? We really don't here. And there's so much there are so many different ways that we need to explore that we don't, or most common doctors don't. And for me, I question everything because doctors have told me I could never work out in my life. I question every single doctor. I understand they have more education in certain things, but I need numbers. Show me my blood work. Give me the tests that I need in order to figure out what is going on.
You want to talk about rage? Nothing bothers me more lately than when I ask a client to go get blood work. And I do this for my natural athletes as well as my performance enhanced athletes. I'd like to see your blood work. I would like to completely customize your supplement index. This means your vitamins as well, because not everybody needs vitamin D. Not everybody needs to be on everything. And so the more you can tailor somebody's intake, things they are putting in their body to match what their body actually needs, the better the experience for that individual. I have had athletes who have clearly never used any kind of performance enhancements go in, ask for their blood work, and be told, no, you don't need it. And I'm like, who are you to deny me rights to understanding my own body and framework? Who are you to tell me no if I'm paying for this?
That shit pisses me the F off because it has happened to me countless a number of times. I've gone in, hey, I want this blood work done. I want my estrogen, my testosterone. I want all the... You're not really having symptoms for those tests, so we can't give them to you. And I'm like, why can't I know what's going on in my body? Why is that so wrong of me? Like, God forbid, I just want to know a little more, because chances are what I'm experiencing could be one out of millions of things. And usually my doctors just classify it as my thyroid. And I'm like, my thyroid is fine. It's been a little low. I monitor it. I take supplements for it. I don't think it's that. Can we look deeper? Well, all your symptoms say thyroid. And I'm like, it goes even deeper in me because I sometimes get UTIs a lot, and they turn into kidney infections because I don't even know I have them until it's too late, until it's a kidney infection. I end up in the hospital. So I've been trying to get to a urologist. My doctor referred me to one. I called them, hey, I would like to make an appointment. Oh yeah, we denied you. We don't study UTIs. I'm like, a urologist that studies urine? I go, where do I go then? Oh, I don't know, sorry. I was like, can I speak to someone else? No. I'm like, fine.
I am like, my internal Karen comes out really hard. I think I'm overconfident in doctors' offices, actually. And I think that's from growing up in a hospital with highly respected doctors and surgeons and medical staff. I cannot give enough credit to Salt Lake City Children's Primary. They have great staff. Anyhow, even as a teenager, I, fractured my ankle when I was younger, and they took me in, and the doctor wanted to put a certain type of cast on me. I told him no. So you could put an air cast on me, give me some crutches, I'm going to get back to business. I got stuff to do. And, granted, I was a teenager. I don't have that education base, but they listened. I walked out with my air cast, my crutches, and I was back to sports 3 weeks later. And, I think that now when I go into doctor, I've been told no about my blood work once, and I looked them in the face. I was like, well, don't you think that's kind of silly? Don't you think that's kind of silly to tell me no? It doesn't affect you if I have my blood work readings. And I actually pay for it. So administering the test is really all you have to do is sign that paper. I think it's kind of crazy that you won't do that. And I basically talked circles around until they gave me what I wanted. But I'm also the first person to say I will leave a review on this. I am the Karen in me goes off. And I will go to war over my health. I will go to war for my husband, and I will go to war for my child. And if my husband listens to this, he would say he would never let me. But those are the things in life that I would go to war for.
Oh, yeah. I would go to war for my health. When you talk to me, I'm always, know your numbers. Go get your test. Know your numbers. Know where your body is even functioning at. And you want to know what's crazy? When you're deficient and you actually fix the deficiency, how great you feel.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you want to live your life subpar?
Well, when they deny you access to your blood work, they're also denying you access to know your trends. So, like, you could get blood work last year, and then you haven't had blood work in a year, and you would like fresh blood work. They look at your blood work from last year, and they're like, well, your blood work was fine, and you're not symptomatic. You talk them into giving you blood work anyways, and you go in, and you see that, over time, your thyroid has been trending down. It hasn't just been low, it's been trending down. So now you can see a trajectory, and you can start corrective action, preventative even. And when you don't, then you let things go until they're bad. You let things go until someone is symptomatic when you could have stopped it before they were.
This is what I always say. Nutrition, exercise, it's preventative. It's to prevent yourself from any other illness. Because when you let it get too far, because doctors only will do something when you have a symptom, then it's too late. But if you can prevent it and know your numbers, get the test done, advocate for yourself, you can stop so many different diseases before it happens.
Dude, best primary I ever had was in North Dakota. When I met him, it was through my husband. He was already my husband's doctor. I went to see him. I was getting ready to go back into bodybuilding after a little hiatus. And, we were asking for blood work, and he asked me some really direct questions. He wanted to know how much food I was consuming. I was ready for this guy to be like, get out of my office. I'm not going to deal with this. And so I'm, giving him the layout, giving him my diet plan, giving him my protocol, everything. And he's like, okay. All right. Okay. So here's the blood panel. I remember it was everything, obviously. And he's like, if you don't reach out to me every 3 months to get your blood work updated, I'm going to send out an appointment reminder. Like, it was so seamless. And I feel like I didn't realize how spoiled I was by that. But I also started making all of my North Dakota athletes go see him. And it became to the point where he had waiting times to see him. And he told us, and he's like, you guys have filled my books. I was like, well, that's what happens when you're a great doctor. But, circling around, I think that, a lot of people also pop into doctors as needed rather than really establishing a PMC and having somebody stay with them for the haul. And I don't think doctors necessarily, and I hate to blanket statement doctors, like I hope, we are talking about one category of them. So anyway, so when you go in, they don't really look at you as somebody they're establishing a long-term relationship with. They don't look at you as somebody who's spent 30 years making your own decisions, establishing your own routine, and getting to where you're at. And so that's the issue that I keep running into when I go in to try and look for a new PMC is I start to tell them my lifestyle. I start to tell them, my daily habits, my routine. And because they don't understand bodybuilding, I got told I'm too rigorous. I got told the other day I eat too much. And I was like, please. Like, I've been told these various things. I was like, if you gave me the chance to talk about where I started and what got me to here, instead of just looking at me as a person on this table and no history, it's crazy to me. And I'm like, you're going to come in and you're going to hear about this one moment and you're going to throw away my entire lifestyle because you don't understand it, even though it's not unhealthy, it's harming nobody. And in fact, I'm doing pretty great in the health world. So it's like, because I don't have an issue, it's so weird to me. I think our medical system is such a crazy fiasco in the States.
I think it's terrible if you ask me.
It's dog shit.
And yeah, again, we are not throwing every doctor under the bus. I do think there's so many doctors that generally go into being a doctor because they actually want to save lives. They want to help people. But unfortunately, doctors are so overworked. The time slots, I used to work for a neurosurgeon as like his nutritionist, and I saw the way it worked. It was, you had to book patients every 15 minutes. That gave the doctor no time to see them. And unfortunately, you're looked at as a dollar sign most of the time.
That's so crazy. I was my doctor in North Dakota as nutritionist. He hired me. And I'll throw him under the bus a little with no name. I could not get this man to stop going to the gas station every morning and buying a bag of chips, 2 hot dogs, and a soda. And that is what he would survive on through the day. Every single day. And it came down to the point where we just had that conversation. I'm like, are you willing to change your ways? And he's a doctor with 6 kids, I believe. And his answer was no. Respectfully. He's like, listen, I gave this a shot. I really wanted to get my food on track, but I have created this habit over years of working as I do, and it is what works best for me. And at the end of the day, as much as I always want to help people and line out their nutrition and get everybody on the most optimal plan, at the end of the day, it's his life, right? Same as he's not denying me access to my blood work because he doesn't do the same things I do or doesn't live the same lifestyle I do. Who am I to tell him, oh yeah, no, I can't stand you now because you don't want to eat how I want you to eat? But it was really eye-opening. Be like, you're a doctor. You eat a bag of chips, a soda, not even a diet soda, and 2 hot dogs a day. And you're cool with that.
Yeah. I mean, the doctor I worked for, he did a lot of nutrition research and worked with, because when you have a brain condition, one of the biggest things is like a keto diet and fighting inflammation in the brain.
Getting that fats in the brain.
Yeah. And so he actually made his own protein shakes and electrolytes for the patients, and they could buy it. And, he would drink some of it and keep his nutrition up that way. But some of the other doctors couldn't care. Lunchroom, Chewy's, like Mexican food, we would always have the worst food in the lunchroom. And then you're expected to have patience the rest of the day when you crash, when you eat junk and then crash and have brain fog, and you're not your best self as a practitioner does not compute in my brain. And, all my employees would be like, oh, there she goes again, heating up her meal, or here's her lunch. Like, you're so good. You always eat so healthy. You always have a lunch. Yeah, because I want to show up as my best self.
So, question for you. Would you hire a bodybuilding coach who has no history competing, does not look the part, and, appearance-wise comes in underqualified?
That's a really tough question for me.
Because I would not. I'm going to give my answer real quick. I absolutely would not. I would not hire a bodybuilding coach who has never participated in bodybuilding.
I wouldn't hire someone who has never participated, but if they answer the questions in an informative way and they know what they're talking about, if they don't look fully the part.
Oh, you can be retired. You can be backed out. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's more like, historically, have they walked the line?
Oh, yeah. I would never hire someone who's never actually competed.
So when I go to a doctor's office and my doctor is obese and walks with a lean and, all these issues, why am I coming to you for health when it looks like you need to go to somebody for health.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think we hold small positions in life to a big standard, like coaching. You can't be a coach unless you can walk the line. But then we have doctors who are visibly, actively unhealthy, teaching us how to be healthy.
Yeah, we hold doctors to a high standard because of all the education they've received. I've had doctors Google right in front of me, which is cool. Like, I get you can't remember every single thing about every single symptom about every single medical condition.
Tell me to use ChatGPT next time.
Honestly, I saw something where ChatGPT found what was happening in this 7-year-old. They've been fighting for years.
Oh, I found a tumor in somebody that no doctor could find.
Yeah. So honestly, that's pretty amazing. But what I will say with just doctors and advocating for your own health, if you are not getting what you want from your doctor, please find someone else. If you want a blood test and they say no, take your business somewhere else, because there are doctors that will do it. And you should not have to suffer just because a doctor wouldn't do it. And know your numbers. If you don't have insurance, I'm not sure if you are in the state of Texas, County Travis, there's free health insurance. Go get it if you don't make enough money or you don't have insurance. I've used it. It's great. There's options. And if you have enough money and you don't want to pay for insurance, there's Function, which does all your blood tests. It's $500 a year. Low key though, they reached out to me and they gave it to me for free because they saw like my following and that I'm a fitness in the fitness industry. And I actually just got my first draw today done. And it's 100+ tests. It's everything the doctors won't do.
I'm gonna need those results.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. I was like, I'm gonna send them all to you, and they can screen for cancer. They can screen for everything that a normal doctor wouldn't. And so there are other options out there. Of course, cost.
You've got Quest, I think, is $299, and Maverick, I think, is around the $500 price mark. You've got definitely options.
There's Hone Health. Hone Health does it. There's so many different options. Of course, I understand money can be a barrier, but if you don't want to spend the money and you have health insurance, go get a doctor that will do it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna close this one out with like kind of a overall statement. Like, one, we're not doctor haters.
No, and we are not doctors ourselves.
However, we've both been in the medical system in various needs. I grew up in a hospital for over 10 years. I do have high expectations of medical staffing and facilities. However, I think as individuals, treat a doctor. We talked on last episode about how we hire coaches, right? Treat a doctor like that. Interview them. Ask them the questions that you need answers to as an individual. And if you can't get those answers there, the other great thing is there's so many doctors. They really are. And, in smaller towns, that's quite difficult. I'm here in Austin, and we could go damn near down the road, 10 minutes each way, and you're going to find a doctor's office. I went online to start my search for a primary care physician or primary care manager, whatever they called now. And when I did that, it had over 1,000 doctors on this list. It was overwhelming. No reviews. So you're just kind of flying by the seat of the pants until I learned about ZocDoc. I think, no sponsorship here, but if y'all don't have ZocDoc, look at that. You can put in your insurance information. If you don't have insurance, you can leave it blank and you're going to still get options of where you can go. But, we ultimately started this with a tie into blood work because that is our main frustration that we face regularly working with bodybuilders and being bodybuilders ourselves. However, treat it the same with anything. If you are going through something, if you want answers, if you need answers for your well-being, you deserve them.
I think going off of that, the worst thing that someone can do is say that you're fine when you don't feel fine. You know your body better than anyone else. So if you're feeling some type of way, don't let anyone tell you you're fine until you get all of the test done.
What's the rule? Here's a new rule. If you wouldn't let your coach say it to you, don't let your doctor. If I told one of my athletes, "You're fine," when they came to me, game over.
Yeah.
My ass would be chewed in and out the next room. So let's not play that game. Let's all just take care of our health, ask the questions that need answered, find the person that has the capacity and the education to answer them.
And wrapping this up, just remember, this is all about advocating for yourself. Advocate for your health. Advocate, advocate, advocate. Don't let anyone tell you no.
I like that. We out.
Fuck you, doctors.
Fuck you, doctors. Dude, we went hard at doctors in that one.
But I strongly feel that way.
Yeah, I was like, I do. I feel like we said a lot of honest opinions in that one. It would be cool as we get further into this and we get more opinionated and stuff, like bring statistics to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Things.
Oh, yeah. And bring, like, we should bring a doctor on.
That would be cool.
Like, one that, like your doctor, the nurse that I worked for was a piece of shit.
Dude, the last doctor I saw, I should have said this on there. I walked into the room, she asked me about my cancer history, and she's like, "Oh, wow." Like, very like, "Oh, wow." And I'm like, "What is that?" Okay. And then she asked me, what I do for a living. I was like, "I'm self-employed and I'm a professional athlete." "Oh, you're a professional athlete. What sport do you play?" "I'm a bodybuilder." What? I'm sorry, I don't understand the humor. "You're a bodybuilder." Oh, I guess. How do you make money doing that? Sponsorships, endorsements, winning shows. Same way most professional athletes do. She's like, "Oh, I guess I just didn't know." I was like, "Yeah, most people don't until they have the conversation." And then we moved on from that. And she had said something to me, something else about bodybuilding. And then she laughed. And I looked at her, I was like, "Are you being condescending?" And she puts her clipboard over her face. She's like, "No, I'm sorry."
No way.
And then she's like, "What? Let's go to the examination table." So I was like, "Okay." And I take my jacket off and I sit down there and she like puts the stethoscope on my back and on my chest and she's listening and she gets done with that. And she's like, "Your tattoos are very pretty." I was like, "Oh, thank you." She's like, "But don't get any more." And I was like,
What?
I was like, "Pardon?" And she's like,
Who are you to say that?
she's like, "Tattoos are known to be causing a stage 1 melanoma." And I was like, "Well, how's that happening?" And she goes, "Well, I don't know. It must be a chemical in the ink." I'm like, that was a very educated response. I appreciate your time today.
Plus, like, who are you to say that?
Right? I do not believe that a doctor's lifestyle choices should be allowed in the examination.
Yeah.
I do not believe that their religious preference or their
Anything like
lifestyle choices belong in the examination room. It can be a part of your character and why you come off the way that you do, but for you to press on me because it came out that she is what's like the hardcore Christian?
Oh, yeah.
Like very old school.
Yeah.
Does the hymns and everything.
Catholic.
It's very, very similar.
Yeah.
Is a word I'm looking for. But anyways, and then all the referrals she was trying to give me were all to Methodist doctors. And I was like, do I seem like I'm going to fit with this? Like, the way I'm talking to you right now, you really want to keep me in with your colleagues? Because I am getting more and more disappointed by you, lady.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah.